you want to have multiple ways that money is coming to you. This is one of the things that I see that the people that do this right now and the people that focus on this between now and December of this year, turning on as many streams of revenue as possible, they're going to be sitting in an entirely different position come this time next year than people that didn't do this. So if you take nothing else away from this podcast, it is decide right now that you are open to being shown opportunities for you to open up additional streams of revenue coming and income and money coming into your life. Because just setting that intention to be open, you're going to start to be shown things. Things are going to start to come across your desk or come into your field of awareness so that you can begin making decisions about what things are aligned for you. This is Leah Steele, aka The Wealth Witch, and this is my podcast. I'm here to activate you to remembrance of your divine birthright to be wealthy in all areas of your life. This podcast is for people ready to have controversial conversations about the financial control, manipulation, and tyranny that faces humanity today. I'm gonna live in freedom. I'm gonna live my destiny. I'm gonna live my freedom. I'm gonna live, the time is right now. The Wealth Witch. It's for the people who are ready to wake up, deconstruct their wealth programming, and free themselves from the financial slavery consciousness that serves the global financial agenda. I'm committed to realizing a new global wealth paradigm where economic freedom is the reality and where you get to design and live the life of your dreams. Now let's do the damn thing. Hey, and welcome to another episode of the Wealth Witch podcast. I am your host, Leah Steele, the Wealth Witch. So over the last week, I have been really looking closely at what's happening on the global financial stage. And I've been seeing a lot of stuff that is alarming to me and a lot of stuff that I'm not liking. I was talking in my private Telegram channel this week about how I really am feeling strongly that there's going to be quite a lot of chaos in November and December of this year. And by the way, if you have not come over and joined us on the Wealth Witch Telegram channel, which is kind of my day-to-day, real, raw, uncensored dialogues and musings and everything that's sort of happening in the Leah Steele brand and with the Wealth Witch podcast, definitely come check us out over there. It's free. And we will put a link to the Telegram channel in the show notes. So you're definitely going to want to join us over there if you love the Wealth Witch podcast and you want more of this, but in a more real-time fashion. So I was in that Telegram channel and I was really talking about the divine downloads and information that's been coming through to me over the last couple of months regarding sort of the state of the global union. And a lot of that has been, it's time to be prepared. It's time to get prepared. It's time to start really looking at what are you going to do if the shit hits the fan. It really is a matter of when and not if. And so, I truly believe that this time that we're living in right now and this time frame that we're going to see these collapses of our financial institutions and organizations and this real shift in how we're doing traditional financial wealth, money, and currency, that, there's a big shift happening on this planet. And that really is between now and 2027. And there's going to be all kinds of chaos and fuckery that ensues in that time period. But for me, I think it's important that we begin to get prepared. And this isn't to be like doom and gloom and, it's going to be the apocalypse and we're going to be riding around in dune buggies wearing Mad Max costumes. Like, that's not what I'm meaning by this. But who knows? Maybe we will be. It's a vibe. I feel like I could rock a Mad Max dune buggy look. But anyway, it's about preparedness, and it's about not being caught out there the way that we've been caught out there the last 2 years. This thing with this pandemic went from 0 to 60 so quickly. Think back 3 years ago. Could you have imagined 3 years ago that we would be living the way that we're living right now? No. If somebody told you 3 years ago that we would be living the way that we would be living right now, you would be like, grab your tinfoil hat, conspiracy theorist, because you've lost the plot and you're crazy, right? And then it happened. And it was much more severe than we ever could have imagined it would be. And it's still happening and it's still going on. So I'm hoping that by now, what you've seen is things can shift in an instant. I'm also hoping by now that you're watching what's happening on the global financial stage closely enough to see that this is about a power play around money, wealth, and currency. It's financial control and manipulation that's happening to us. And it isn't going to be long before it's full financial control and manipulation. So I want to talk about a couple of things on this podcast. And the first thing that I want to really, really impress upon you is how important it is for you right now to begin to open up multiple streams of revenue. And I don't care if you think you have the most safe, stable, secure job at the best company on the planet. The one thing that it has shown us, this pandemic and what's happened on this planet over the last 2 years, is that nothing that we previously believed was safe, stable, secure is safe, stable, secure. So I don't care if you're making $3 million working at a company that you believe is the most stable company in the whole entire world. It is vitally important that we begin to look at multiple streams of revenue. So I started doing this about 4 years ago, and I am always open to and looking for additional streams of revenue. And for me, it's like you fill up the bathtub faster if you've got multiple faucets turned on. And especially if those multiple faucets are turned on as much as they can possibly be turned on. So multiple streams of revenue, really, really important right now. I heard a statistic this week that blew my freaking mind. And I haven't actually gone and researched this, but the statistic comes from somebody that I really, really admire and respect and does his research. So I didn't feel the need to go out and like double check and fact check this, because we all know how reliable fact checking is, right? So you can definitely go out and research this yourself. But the statistic that was shared with me was that in 2019 in the United States, 73% of all bankruptcies could have been avoided if the family had simply had an additional $800 a month. Think about that for a second. 73% of all bankruptcies filed in the United States in 2019, which was a lot, could have been avoided if the family simply had $800 extra a month. So how do you make $800 extra a month? Well, first of all, you open yourself up to the possibility that there are additional streams of revenue out there that you're not even realizing could potentially be there. And you start consciously keeping your eyes open and asking for opportunities to be shown to you and for opportunities to come to you. I am such a huge fan and have become such a huge fan of affiliate marketing over the last couple of years. Now, I want to talk a little bit about this because previously I'm from Salt Lake City, Utah, which is basically the MLM or multi-level marketing capital of the world. I thought affiliate marketing and multi-level marketing, social selling was like the bottom of the barrel, like the sleaziest, most disgusting form of business there was. Because growing up in Salt Lake City, Utah, you were hit up every other day by somebody trying to get you to join a multi-level marketing company. And it wasn't that I didn't believe in the products of multi-level marketing companies. I've actually used heaps and heaps of products from multi-level marketing companies over the years because I do believe actually they make some really, really incredible products, but I never was like involved in the selling of an MLM product or anything like that. And so, in 2020, this little bioresonance device, Healy, came across my desk. And it didn't actually come across my desk first. My back went out, and a friend of mine who was a healer did a remote healing session on me with this device. And it blew my mind. And I was like, oh my God, I got to get one of these. This thing is so incredible. And then my journey with Healy started. And I know some of you that are listeners found me through Healy, and maybe some of you were like, I have no idea what Healy is. And for those of you that don't know what Healy is, we're going to put a link in the show notes so you can go check it out. But it is this bioresonance device that has become one of my most powerful, most trusted, most vital personal wellness tools in my toolbox. And so it actually is all about frequency and vibration, and it balances your body's bioenergetic field. And so I've used this to help me with things from, healing scars and wounds to helping with extreme debilitating back pain, to ridiculously improving my skin, my hair, my nails. I mean, there are programs in Healy for so many different things. I'm not going to take up heaps of time on this talking about Healy, so you can definitely do that research on your own. But when Healy came across my desk, it was really fascinating to me, and it hadn't launched in the United States yet. And so I started looking at the compensation model and the compensation plan, and it blew my mind. And I was like, wow, this is actually a way for my community and the people that I'm helping deconstruct their programming and conditioning around money, wealth, and currency to actually have a vehicle through which they can go out and make money. So we're getting rid of the programming, we're getting rid of the conditioning. And now we're also providing the community with an opportunity to go out and do just what I was talking about, open up another stream of revenue for their family. And so I had a lot of success in my community with Healy and with people jumping on board with Healy. And I quickly had people making 5 figures a month, not just 800, not 4 figures a month, but 5 figures a month selling Healy, right? Not even, what we're talking about with these 73% of bankruptcies was 3 figures a month. It was just 3 figures a month that would have prevented bankruptcy. And I quickly had people making 4 and 5 figures a month inside my Healy business. So there was opportunity being presented. But as I really started to understand the social selling model and how things had shifted in the industry, and, it wasn't just about selling you the next new juice from the Amazon berry, or, essential oils, or, these small kind of healthcare products, I started really realizing the power of a social selling model, not because of how it benefits the people at the top of the pyramid, which it does, obviously, or at the top of the social selling ladder, or they're set up all different ways, right? When I say pyramid, I know people straight away jump to pyramid scheme, which is not what I'm talking about here at all. There's lots and lots of different structures in social selling models. But what it does is it puts the power in your hands. It gives you a product or a service that you can then go out and sell. And the only person you're dependent upon in selling that thing is you, right? And so you have the ability to make and generate revenue, additional revenue for your family. And if you find a product that you feel really heart-led about and you're passionate about, and it's something that you would share with people regardless of whether or not you were making money from it, that's where you find your winner, right? And so for me, Healy's that thing, because I use it every single day. I've seen so many people have so many incredible results from using it. And so I have no problem telling people about it all the live long day. And there's an incredible business opportunity there. So if you're listening to this podcast, you want to know more about that, we're going to put a link in the show notes. Definitely, check out the video and then reach out to me. We'll put a way to contact me if you want to know more about the business opportunity of Healy. But there's so many other social selling opportunities out there in the world that you can get involved in. So, and the majority of people that come into social selling model or network marketing companies, they do exactly what I'm talking about here. They make, somewhere between 3 to 4 figures a month, low 4 figures, right? But 3 to 4 figures a month in extra revenue for their family. So if these 73% of all the bankruptcies filed in the United States, if these people had simply been like, oh, can I turn on another stream of revenue? Can I open up another faucet of revenue and money coming into my family? Let me go find some kind of home-based business, some kind of social selling model where I can earn an additional $5,000 to $1,000 to $2,000 a month for my family. That would have prevented that. So I'm bringing this up because I really, truly believe now is the time to be looking at these things. Even if you're in a safe, stable, secure job, you feel you are, right? Even if your family is super comfortable with the revenue and the amount of money that's coming in to your family right now, you want to have multiple ways that money is coming to you. This is one of the things that I see that the people that do this right now and the people that focus on this between now and December of this year, turning on as many streams of revenue as possible, they're going to be sitting in an entirely different position come this time next year than people that didn't do this. So if you take nothing else away from this podcast, it is decide right now that you are open to being shown opportunities for you to open up additional streams of revenue coming and income and money coming into your life. Because just setting that intention to be open, you're going to start to be shown things. Things are going to start to come across your desk or come into your field of awareness so that you can begin making decisions about what things are aligned for you. And certainly I'm not saying, you do every single thing that comes to you. No, only do the things that are aligned. But there's going to be stuff out there that you're aligned to that could really, really make a huge difference a year from now when financial institutions and organizations and earning money as we know it has completely shifted and changed. So that's one thing. And, I really, really believe that especially over the next 3 years, how we do money, how we do finances, how we do acquiring and accumulating wealth is going to be completely different. I'm having a lot of people asking me the last couple of weeks about crypto. And my personal position on crypto is that I feel that crypto is very, very emotionally volatile. And I believe that the world is very emotionally charged right now. And I believe that the world is going to become more emotionally charged, particularly in November and December of this year. So I would say that if you are investing in cryptocurrency, that I would do it now. And I would have all your investments completed by November. And I also think that people should be expecting to see a fairly sizable crash in November and December and possibly continuing into first quarter of next year in the crypto market. And this isn't from me analyzing anything. This isn't from me watching anything. This is literally from me energetically tracking what's happening in the global financial agenda and the control and manipulation of the people on this planet energetically, how that's happening. That's where this information's coming from. So I'm not investing in cryptocurrency right now. And I won't be. And until I start to feel this thing shifting energetically, because I truly believe that we are going to see something major happen in November and December of this year. And first quarter of next year, I believe, is going to be very, very similar to first quarter of 2020, when we saw massive, a massive upheaval in the world with the coronavirus. So yeah, multiple streams of revenue. So that's kind of the first part of this. The second thing is that I'm seeing, and that really reaffirmed this feeling that I've been having, and how I've been tracking this energy, was the Democrats' $3.5 trillion budget plan. And I don't know how many people are following this or how many people are aware of all of this that's happening. I mean, I think it's been fairly kicked up in the news as of late, because I think the banks are beginning to sort of fight back on this. But what the Biden administration is proposing is that any person that has more than $600 of in gross payment volume from sales or services in a single year, right? So $600 in a 12-month period. If you earn $600 in a 12-month period, that would make your bank account open to the IRS. And when I say open, that means that every deposit and every withdrawal that you make out of that bank account would be reported to the IRS. So this really, really affects the middle class and particularly the self-employed middle class. And it's a violation of Fourth Amendment rights. The Fourth Amendment prohibits search and seizure without probable cause. So this directly violates that. It doesn't matter because as a collective, we are surrendering our rights right, left, and center. Like we are allowing our freedom and our liberty to be stepped on, manipulated, and controlled. And we are stepping further and further into a reality where tyranny, control, and manipulation, and eventually communism is going to be the reality if we don't stop this now, if we don't actually stand up for ourselves, if we don't actually start realizing that freedom isn't something that is a privilege, it's a right. And we have that right on this planet. That liberty is our inherent birthright. We are not, it's not something that we should be thankful to our governments for allowing us to have. The beings on this planet should be free and sovereign to make choices about their own bodies, about their own, the way that they provide for their family and how they provide for their family. We're seeing this kind of spiral happen. The United States right now is a ticking time bomb. It's very, very volatile there. And it's going to continue to get volatile, I'm afraid, until the end of the year. Obviously, we're already seeing mass control and manipulation happening in Australia. And a lot of this stuff, already having been put into play and implemented in Australia. So, yeah, I think that for me, what I would say is the biggest thing for you to focus on right now is making sure that you have multiple streams of revenue, multiple ways that you are able to earn money, multiple ways that you are able to provide for your family. Now, once you start, how do you receive that money? What do you do with that money? Well, my suggestion to you is that you keep that money in as many ways, as many diversified ways as possible. So, don't keep all your money in the bank, especially because we know that financial institutions and organizations are going to be collapsing. They're not going to look the way that they do today. So if you're keeping huge, huge sums of money in a bank, that is not in your highest and best good, right? So don't keep all your money in banks. Again, make sure that your assets are diversified. So you may be keeping some money in jewelry. You may be keeping some money in precious metals. You may be keeping cash. You may be keeping cash in multiple currencies. You may keep some in places that are easier to access, like a PayPal account or a Venmo account or a TransferWise account or, one of the many other payment systems that they use across the world. It obviously kind of depends on what country you're in, right? But have money in multiple places. Have money in multiple banks. Don't be keeping all your money in one bank. Because I would recommend you have some in a credit union and some in a bank, especially if you have the ability to access credit union type institutions and organizations. But certainly don't have all your eggs in one basket, because if something happens, it's just like, they've been talking about this potential blackout now for a while. I don't know. I don't actually feel strongly one way or another if that's going to happen. But just imagine if all your money's in the bank and you don't have access to any of your money, and this does happen, and all access is cut off, and you can't get to an ATM, you can't get money out of an ATM. How are you going to provide for your family if you don't have cash on hand, if you don't have something that you can trade or barter? And that brings me to the next point. So the next point is that I think it's really important that you begin to look at trade relationships with people that have things that you need, especially if you have something that they need or desire, right? It doesn't necessarily always be a need. It could be a desire. And a lot of you may be listening to this and you might be saying like, oh, well, I definitely don't have that. You would be surprised. You would be surprised. And so one of the things that I've realized that I really want to start doing is, I have people that are paying me money on different types of payment plans. And I'm like, okay, look, I want to help people with this ability to turn on multiple streams of revenue. And so as a result of that, I'm really going to be upping my game in my affiliate program and allowing people to sell certain products of mine so that they can earn money for themselves. And so it's to begin to look at how we can leverage those relationships with those people in a way that, they've been paying me a lot of money for certain things that they're, certain courses or programs that they're participating in with me. And it's like, okay, so how can we make this a win-win situation where, you can continue to have these things that you desire and you can go out and sell some of my programs, and then we're sorting out what that looks like as far as actual money exchanging hands. And so it's just getting creative right now. Like right now is a time where you need to start to get creative because we don't know what tomorrow holds. We don't know what next month holds. We don't know what next year holds. But what we do know is that we are not going to be able to continue to carry on in our existing way of doing things. Our financial systems and structures, they're not working. They can't continue and sustain themselves the way that they're carrying on. The governments can't continue to bail out the financial institutions. They can't continue to do these big bailouts of, even airlines, like during this time of the pandemic and stuff. Like there isn't the financial, structure to support the way that the money is being spent. And don't even get me started on like the United States and the backing of the US dollar and all of that. That's another podcast for another time, I think. But this podcast really was to just put out there to you, to start planting some seeds, to start to get you thinking about what's coming. So, and again, not from a place or a position of, oh my God, Chicken Little, the sky's falling, doom and gloom, but from a place of, I want to be prepared. I want to be the most prepared I can possibly be so that my family has the highest chance of success no matter what comes. And so my suggestion to you is that you begin to look at worst case scenarios. So in the worst case scenario, and you outline whatever you think those worst case scenarios would be, what would you do? And if that worst case scenario happened, what could you have done starting right now to make it so that you weren't in that place where you were feeling powerless or where things were difficult? So if you could start preparing now for your worst case scenario that was going to happen in 4 months, 3 months, maybe 3 months, 6 months, 12 months, 18 months, what are your worst case scenarios? What can you do to begin to prepare right now? And again, without that, like, oh my God, you don't need to turn into a doomsdayer and go stock your entire basement full of, canned food. But what can you do to begin to get prepared? And how can you turn on multiple streams of revenue and income to help be supportive of that preparedness should the worst happen? So that's all for today. Please remember, it's your divine birthright to be wealthy in all areas of your life, but it's also your divine birthright to be sovereign. It is also your divine birthright to be free. And you are so worthy of that, and you are so deserving. So get prepared and start making some additional money. Go turn on some additional streams of revenue. No one is ever going to be like, I wish I had not made that extra money. Trust me. Maybe go look for some potential affiliate marketing opportunities, network marketing opportunities that feel soul aligned for you, and start a home-based business. So until next time, This is the Wealth Witch, signing off. That's a wrap. I hope you enjoyed the show. Make sure to connect with me on social media and reach out. I love hearing from you. And if you want more of me, real, raw, and uncensored, make sure to join the Wealth Witch Telegram channel. It's my free channel where I share all of my random daily musings as well as the information that I feel like is important and pertinent to my community. We've put a link to the Telegram channel in the show notes, so make sure to come join us over there if that intrigues you. Remember, wealth is a mindset, and you are the most powerful creator in your reality. Until next time, this is the Wealth Witch signing off.